As Dr. Carol Tomlinson points out in her books, in a differentiated classroom, the goal of assessment is to provide teachers information about students' readiness for a particular lesson, as well as their progress in learning new ideas and skills. She also points out that it is valuable to involve students in the assessment process. Teaching students to assess their work not only allows them to track their own progress, it also gives them a sense of ownership in their learning and teaches them responsibility. A differentiated instructional tool that involves student self-assessment is called K.W.L, with K standing for what students already know about a subject, W standing for what the students want to learn about the subject, and L standing for what they have learned. Using a K.W.L chart engages students in the lesson by allowing them to relate the subject matter to their own lives. In addition, students are taught how to use higher-order thinking strategies and how to monitor their own progress towards goals. To learn about this form of self-assessment, we traveled to Callanan Middle School in Des Moines, Iowa, and the 6th grade classroom of teacher Christy Moore. Let's watch as she introduces her lesson.
Today we're going to be talking about natural resources. My goal for the kids is to know what natural resources are, to understand the difference between non-renewable and renewable resources, and then to be able to demonstrate they know where we can find different resources at and what we use them for. We're also going to be doing a K.W.L. They've never done it before in my class. We're going to introduce that as a kind of a self-assessment. So they will be doing one on their own after we do one together to demonstrate what it is, and that's going to help them kind of focus themselves as they work on their activity for today. I've done K.W.L. assessments before, and I know that the students really enjoy them, and it helps them to really, like I said, focus. But I haven't tried it with this group yet, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Good morning. How are you doing today? Good. We are going to start today by talking about a K.W.L. Can somebody raise your hand and tell me what is a K.W.L.? Some of you might know this and some of you might not, and that's okay. Nate?
What you know, what you want to learn, and what you learned.
It's what you know, what you want to know, and what you've learned. And you guys are going to be using K.W.Ls today to monitor your progress on an activity that we're going to do. Okay, so let me show you what they typically look like. Normally we have a chart that has 3 categories. What you already know. These are the things that you are 100% absolutely sure of. It is a fact. You can prove it. Okay? These are the things that you want to know. Maybe you're not quite sure, but you've heard it once before. You might want to check it out, or things that you just have had questions about and you really don't know the answer at all. And then the learned category is what you do and a little bit later, and we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? So you guys are going to do one of these on your own, but we're going to practice by doing one together. Every K.W.L. has a topic. Okay, and I'm going to give you a topic for your own K.W.Ls later. But for now, we're just going to practice on a random topic. So somebody raise your hand, give me a topic that we can do a K.W.L. on. Ian?
Oceans.
Oceans. Boy, you're really thinking social studies today, aren't you?
Yeah.
Other people have said things like monkeys and cows and just like random, but oceans are good. What do we know already about oceans? Somebody give me a couple things. Lily?
There are 4 oceans.
There are 4. Okay. I'm going to make very brief notes on mine. Nate?
They're saltwater.
They're salty, right? Been in the ocean, tasted it, not so good. Eli?
Big.
They're big, right? Very big, large bodies of water. What else? Frankie?
They're blue.
They're blue? Are they all blue, or do they just look blue in pictures?
They look blue.
They look blue. We always see them on our maps in blue. Okay, good. Lily, last one.
There's a lot of animals that live in the oceans.
Many animals. Awesome. Caitlin, would you please go shut the door for me? Thank you. So we have a lot of animals. Okay, so these are 100% absolutely provable. We know this already. What do we want to know about oceans? And you can think about oceans in general or specific oceans. Eli?
What kind of animals or something lives in each one?
Yeah, so maybe there are animals in some oceans, maybe in the Pacific, that we will not find in the Atlantic. So maybe we want to know where we can find certain animals. Emma?
What's the average size of oceans?
Yeah, how big are these things? Just really, how big are they? Caroline?
Depth.
Depth. How deep are they? Are there some that are deeper than others? There's one more thing I was thinking, but maybe you're not thinking it. I was thinking about temperature. Are some oceans warmer than others or colder than others? Okay? So those are all things that as we were researching oceans, we could definitely find out, right? Yes? Good. Now, the learned category. These are things that you have learned. When am I going to fill this out? Lily?
After you've researched oceans?
After you've researched it or?
During.
During, thank you. After or during. So while you're working or after you are done working, you will add things to this category. It could be things related to this one, or it could be things that you didn't even put on your chart before that you just thought were cool and you didn't know before. That's going to be your learned category. Okay? So any questions about a K.W.L? Good. I'd like you to take one of these and pass it back, please. The reason that we're doing this is so you guys can monitor what you're learning today. We are all at very different points as far as the topic that we're going to be discussing. So this is going to allow you to look at what you know as an individual and to increase your knowledge. All right, so go ahead and put your names on the top of there, please. Make sure you get today's date, and I'm going to give you a topic. I want you to write the topic at the very top of your paper. Natural resources. Some of us in here might know what this word means or what this phrase means, and some of us don't. Okay? What I want you to do is you're going to spend just a couple of minutes and you're going to fill out your own K.W.L. What do you know about natural resources? What do you want to know? Those are the two columns that you need to have. Now, if you have no idea what natural resources are you going to put anything under the K? No. The only thing that you have to worry about is the W. If you think you kind of know what they are, but you're not sure, don't put it under the K. That's only 100% if you're sure. So under the W, you're going to write questions. I want everyone to have at least 5 things that they want to find out about this. And if you don't know what it is, you've got it easy, right? The first question can be what? Caitlin?
What is a natural resource?
What is it? What are they? So that'll be your first question. Okay? So go ahead and take a few minutes. Under what I want to know, I want you to jot down some things that you want to know about natural resources. If you already know stuff, put it under the K column for me. Okay? Go ahead and get started. Yes?
Okay, could you put things like what you think they are? Like you could put like fossil fuel if it wasn't natural.
Sure, if you are absolutely positive that you know that's what that is. Some of us won't have anything under the K, and that's all right. Some of us will. While you're doing that, I'm going to pass out a yellow marker, and I will explain what that is for when you are done. What else could you have besides what is it? All right. Does everyone have at least one thing on their paper? Absolutely. All right. Now, while I'm talking, if you think of something else you want to know, I want you to jot it down. Okay? If you think of something that you have learned, I want you to put it under what you have learned. All right? We're going to talk about natural resources. Like I said, some of you know what they are. Somebody help me out. What is a natural resource? What is the meaning of this phrase? Nate?
Like a resource that comes from, it's not man-made, it comes from like the earth.
Yeah, we're talking about materials. That come from nature and are useful to who? Us, right? and are useful to humans? So now, if you didn't have that under your no, where can you put it? Ian? What you learned. So everyone that didn't know this before should be writing this down under the L. And now if you have some more questions, you should be putting it under the W. You guys are going to be exploring natural resources today, and you're going to be starting from the level that you are at. Some of you already knew this, so you can kind of go up from there. Some of you weren't sure, and you're going to explore this more, and then you're going to move up from there. Okay? And we're going to have two different activities. I'm going to explain those both to you before you choose one. All right? Your first activity is called the global pencil. It's an article that you can read about the creation of a pencil. What kind of materials go into it? Where are those materials from? It's really cool. Actually, when you look at a regular wooden pencil, you think it can't be that complicated. And this article shows you that it's a lot more complicated than you thought. So it's kind of a cool article. On the bottom, it says using your map skills. Please do not do that. Okay? If you choose to do this activity, you're also going to grab these two sheets. Before you even read the article, I would like you to define these three terms: natural resource, renewable resource, and non-renewable resource. Okay? Somebody tell me, where can I find the definitions for words in this room?
Your social studies book?
In your social studies book, where at in the book?
In the reading or in the glossary?
Good, you got them both. In the reading or in the glossary. Where else? If I don't, let's pretend I lost my social studies book. Where else? The dictionary. There are red dictionaries down on the bottom of that bookshelf that you may use. Okay? This is the first thing everyone needs to do, no matter what activity you choose. Then, for this activity, you're going to read the article and highlight or mark in some way the natural resources throughout the article. So you all have a yellow marker, use it as a highlighter. Highlight those natural resources. You're then going to create a map. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of list out, make a map key, list out all the natural resources in the article and give each one a funky little symbol. And then you're going to put them on the appropriate locations on the front using the symbols. If you decide that map making is really not your thing, you have another choice. This is called resources around the world. And what you're going to do is, again, you define those three terms. Everybody in here is going to define those three terms. It's the first thing you need to do. Okay? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to choose one of these three books. Whatever interests you. If you are interested in Europe and Russia, grab this book. Okay? If you're interested in North America, grab one of the North America books. And if you're interested in South America, grab a South America book. All right? You are going to look at the table of contents. It lists all the chapters. Each chapter covers a different region. Okay? Just so you know what it's covering, I want you to look at the table of contents. Then you're going to skim the sections and complete this chart. You write the title here, and as you're skimming the sections, you write down the natural resources that they talk about in the book. You write down whether it's a renewable or non-renewable resource, and you'll know that because you'll have defined them. You're going to tell me what region, and you're going to tell me what we use it for. If you would like to work with one other person, you may choose a partner. However, I caution you to work with someone that you know will help keep you focused. Don't pick your best friend, okay? And if you want to work alone because that's how you work best, then feel free to do that. All right? As you're working today, please keep in mind that you need to continuously be looking at this and writing down what you learned. If you answer a question in the W column, I want you to highlight it so you know what you've answered. Why would we even worry about this? What's the purpose? What's the point? So you can find out what you want to know, and if you learned that, then if you've learned that. When I give you guys a regular test, I'm asking, what do you know? Today, using this, you're asking yourselves, what do I know? Okay? And I'm going to be peeking at those as you work. So make sure you keep that in the back of your mind the whole time. All right, if you want to work around the room, you may do so. Come on up and get the materials that you need. Good. May I look at your K.W.L? Thank you. So you had a pretty good idea before we started, kind of what they were, but not the exact definition? Good.
I didn't see any natural resources.
Well, we're still at 3,000.
That cannot be replaced.
No, we have to read through this whole thing first.
What are logs?
There is
Pieces
of wood that's been chopped down by larger trees.
Trees, right?
Cedar trees.
So, cedar trees. So when you're going through, you wouldn't necessarily have to put logs on there because they come from trees. Okay, so trees would be the natural resource. Does that make sense?
Wait, I have to do this.
No, all you need to do is to follow the directions on the description.
It takes the efforts of thousands of people from as many as 20 different countries and states to make one little pencil. Wow. You can imagine how many people it must take to make something like a car or a television set.
Somebody made the rubber as easily came from Malaysia. The gritty stuff in the eraser that wears the pencil marks off the paper is pumice. That's a natural resource. Pumice comes from volcanoes in Italy. The piece of metal that holds the eraser. Metal is one.
This will help you fill out the chart, but first you want to find the definition of those three terms. Make sense? Okay.
The first is natural resource.
You put it on the map, you just have to do it once on the map, you pick one symbol. You know what I mean? Well, what do you know about crude oil?
We have no idea what it is.
Okay, do you know what oil is?
Yes.
Okay, so crude oil has to be some form of oil, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think oil is a natural resource?
Yes.
Okay. So crude oil would also be a natural resource.
Perfect.
So one way to think about it is just use the kind of a clue. So you already knew what oil was, and that clue will help you kind of figure out, okay, crude oil.
So we'll draw a giant cedar tree.
Did you guys make your map key yet?
We're starting it.
Okay.
We just had to get it in Oregon. We're trying to find that.
Okay, so you're gonna do one, and then you're gonna put the symbol on, and you're gonna do that. Okay. If you need help finding locations,
Crude oil
How
comes from
about-
Texas.
Because there's two different types of oil. There's castor and crude oil. So how about crude oil? You draw oil can with this thing sticking out to the left, and castor oil to the right.
from nature. Does that make sense? So you want to read through the article and pick out everything that comes from nature that is a natural resource and highlight it. Okay? So go ahead and just do these two paragraphs, and then I'll come back and check on you to kind of make sure that you're on the right track, okay? Working on your map key. Look at this. Fertile valleys rise to mountain meadows. Forest. Scattered trees. Now think about a tree. Ask yourself, does it come from nature?
Yes.
Do humans use it? That's a natural resource. So you would write down trees. Now this,
It's renewable. We could plant new ones on it.
absolutely. So it would be renewable because you can continue to plant them. Where can I find the region at? What region?
The Alps.
Absolutely.
How about you draw?
And then just tell me some things that you know. Common sense tells you, what do we use trees for?
Oil.
We have to fill out the whole chart. The brass, should we put zinc and copper, or should we just put brass?
You would put zinc and you would put copper because brass is a combination of the two.
It says like right here, like.
Oh wait, yeah.
It's a good thing we have.
Okay, now we have to take all the gas.
Sri Lanka? Sure.
Because we can't find it. We looked up on there also.
Let's look at a more specific map of Europe.
Europe?
Yep, Europe.
Europe is.
Let's choose like one thing after every chapter. We should just choose like, let's choose like one thing after every chapter. We've already done coffee, so. Did you find it? Can we look it up on the computer maybe? That, because that's what everybody else is looking at.
Oh, I found it.
I know. You did?
Yeah, I found it. Right here.
I was thinking of Sicily.
Bottom of India. Right there. There. Me.
Good job, Emma. Very impressive.
Good job, Emma.
When you
You're
said
smart.
Sicily, I was thinking of when you said Sri Lanka, I was thinking of Sicily. You know where Sicily is? What I want you to do right now is I want you to dedicate the next 3 minutes to your K.W.L. If you have not looked at it yet since we started this class, I want you to look at it right now. I want you to start adding things to it. If you already did that a few minutes ago when I asked, you can continue doing what you're doing. Okay? I want to look at all your K.W.Ls though, so please have them out.
So I'll just draw a rock.
Looking at your chart, you already knew that trees are a renewable resource and they come from the atmosphere.
And then I drew just drew a little purple clay. And the clay is Mississippi.
Hummus? Hummus. Not hummus. Okay, we need to put all of these papers in our social studies folder because they are not homework. You may put your social studies folders and notebooks back on the shelf. Hold on just a second. I'm not done explaining what you're going to do. You're going to put all the materials of mine that you used away. While you're doing that, you need to come up from me and get a Post-it. We're going to do an exit card out on a Post-it note today. Okay? Okay? Go. The yellow markers come back in the basket up here on my stool. Yellow markers come up here. Does everyone get a Post-it?
I did. I've got something here that says on it.
Says
Yes, it says ER.
I'll take it. Not like a pirate. The next thing is I want to talk a little bit about kind of the things that you encountered today. First of all, I gotta erase this, that's cheating. Without looking at any of your notes, someone tell me what the meaning of natural resource is. Zoe.
It's like something that is natural and can be used for different like foods and medicines, things like that, and it's all natural, I guess.
Good. Yeah, Zoe came into class late after a band lesson, so I was we'll have someone kind of elaborate.
Materials that are made from nature that we use that are useful.
Yes, absolutely. Materials from nature that are useful to us. Is my overhead projector a natural resource? No. Is your pencil a natural resource?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Is it made of natural resources?
Yes.
Absolutely good. So you guys have a better understanding of what natural resources are, yes? Yes. Thumb up if you understand natural resources. Thumb sideways if you're not sure. Thumb down if you have no idea what a natural resource is and you might have been napping the whole class. Good. Nobody's thumb is down. All right. Thank you. Okay. One other thing. You guys kind of explored on your own the difference between a non-renewable and a renewable resource. Someone tell me what a non-renewable resource is. Non-renewable. Lily?
Something that you can't like grow or replenishes itself, like minerals that the earth only has so much of it, and they just kind of, after you've used all of them, they're gone.
Absolutely. Something that, when we use it, tough luck. We're done. We don't have any more. We can't replant it. We can't find it anywhere. We can't rebuild it. It's gone. What is one of the major things that we're concerned with of running out of? What's the one thing? Nate? Gas, right? We're worried about this oil. You've heard, how does that affect your life? If we were to have a shortage of oil, or if some of our oil drills broke down, how would that affect your life, Nate? Okay. Do you drive a car?
No.
No. How does it affect your life, though?
I couldn't get to school because my mom or dad drives me to school.
Yeah, exactly. So like the places that your parents take you on the weekends, maybe they take you to your friend's house or take you skating, or, we might have to cut out those recreational things because gas will be too expensive to use on those types of things. It'll become use only in a necessity situation. Okay? Good. All right, here's your exit question, and you're going to hand me the card as you go out the door, okay? Your exit question is, You know what a natural resource is, and you know what a non-renewable resource is. Here's what I want you to do. Put your name on your exit card. And I want you to name for me 2 renewable resources. 2 renewable natural resources. And when you're finished, you can stick it on top of your books, and as you go out, I will grab it or you can hand it to me. Thanks, Frankie. Have a good rest of the day.
Okay.
Thanks, Zoe. Nice job catching up today. Excellent. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Lily. Hey, Lily. Is livestock a natural resource?
Kind of.
Wouldn't it be? Where do animals come from? They come from other animals, right?
Right.
And we're talking about things that just come from the earth itself or from nature itself. So while it is renewable, it's not exactly a natural resource. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. A lot of people wrote potatoes.
I got the second one right.
I think it went really well. I think next time I might pair the kids up myself. We had a couple of kids who weren't very focused, but it was really a small number. And I like to give the kids a choice as far as who they're working with because they know who they're most comfortable with. The lesson itself, I think that they walked out of here with a good idea. My little post-assessment here, there's only really one child who was confused about whether a resource was non-renewable or renewable. So they kind of accomplished the goal that I gave for them, and we'll continue to work on it tomorrow and make sure that they have a solid understanding of where these certain things come from. So it went well. When kids are coming up with their own questions about a topic, I think they're more likely to see it as important. They're more likely to value what they're learning as opposed to me just saying, you need to learn this. And which I do that sometimes. There are certain things that kids need to learn, but when they're coming up with it on their own, they really also see how to relate it to their own lives. And so I think it's important to do K.W.Ls and other kind of self-assessments.